All right, today we're going to be talking about what to bring to a regatta. Ago before I started getting back into sailing, I really didn't know what to bring. I didn't know what to expect as far as spare parts, what could break, summer gear versus winter gear. There's just so much to think about. And when you're out on the water for 5 to 7 hours at a time, the weather changes quite drastically over that spread of time. So it's really important that you dress for the weather on the water. I can't tell you how many times I've been out in the water where I dressed accordingly early in the morning, and then later on it either got colder or hotter. So you either have to layer up or layer down based on the actual elements themselves. So it's important you check the weather before you go out, and then you also come prepared. So we're going to talk through each one of those items, what it means to actually have spare parts on hand. A lot of these regattas will have a vendor or someone there to actually supply parts for you if something does break. But I've been to regattas where that's not the case, right? There's no one there to help you. And really you need to be self-sufficient out there. You need to bring your own tools, and you need to bring your own kind of backup or spare equipment. So we're going to talk through each and kind of what to expect and what you should probably be bringing to these regattas. There's so much that goes into leading up to these regattas. Your training, you've paid for your regatta registration, your hotels, the gas to get up there, the food. And so all of that, if you get up to the start line and something breaks and you don't have a spare part on you, your entire regatta is shot. So it's got to be one of the worst feelings in the world. I know from experience that it's so important that you've got spare parts or something on hand to go ahead and swap out. Let's talk through each, and I'll show you guys. If you have any questions, comments below. Yeah, let's get started. So here's basically a spare part for everything on board. This is, from your main sheet to your Cunningham to your Traveler to even a new baler plug. I've got another outhaul system, Cunningham system, and we've got another Vang in here. I've got bungees, I've got extra lines, just about everything you would need to quickly swap out and not have to kind of, look for the part. Now, with that said, I've actually got another container that carries everything else, right? Which I've even got another hiking strap in here, should that break. I've got some new Velcro for the compass over here. I've got new auto balers just in case. I mean, you name it, from main sheet blocks to even mass. All right, let's talk about gear. I'll go over it quickly. Or what you should bring to every regatta no matter what. Here is kind of the setup that I bring every single time. This is what I wear out in the water almost every time. I actually get cold a little bit more easier than most, so I know after being out in the water for 4 or 5 hours, I really start to get cold. The water starts hitting you, it starts just being soaked in your hiking pants, in your boots, and then on your person as well. So for me, it's very important to dress warm before I leave. Even if I'm a little hot when I go out, it's okay because I know it's going to get cold out there. My gloves, just got these are Elite short finger gloves, the brand new ones from Zeke. Highly recommend these. They've got little pads on the knuckles. A lot of times you go down to the deck, and so that really helps. A little finger sleeve to pull them off. So love these, highly recommend. I do have a little penny, event penny. This goes over your life jacket. My life jacket is actually black, so it's really nice to have a white one to kind of keep that sun off. I have a nice little kind of top wetsuit from Gill. Love this thing. This is just a beast. I wear this all the time. It's fantastic. It's 3.5 millimeter fire cell is what it's called, but highly recommend them. They're awesome. Hiking pants, I don't have to tell you guys about hiking pants. Everyone's got hiking pants, but I highly recommend these from Zeke. I purchased the ones from Rooster, I purchased the ones from Gill, and these seem to be the best so far. What I really love about Zeke's hiking pants are they actually have the Velcro up top. and so they never come apart, which a lot of times what I find is they keep falling down, and you're constantly having to hike up your hiking pants. And I've seen this out in the water where people stand up and they're constantly having to pull up their hiking pants just to get the pads where you want them when you're hiking, whereas I never have a problem with these guys stay put. So love these, highly recommend these hiking pads from Zeke. And then the last couple of items here, obviously a hat, sun protection, very important. And then my Zeke life jacket. Very, very important. You guys get yourself a good life jacket. I've seen people out there with regular PFDs, and those are great. They'll do what they're supposed to be doing, which is save your life on the water, help you float. But what they don't do is actually give you the ability to move around, right? You really want to have the ability to not feel constricted, and then hot too, right? So very, very important that it's breathable. It stays put, and it's not too tight, because you really want to be able to breathe out there. What I really like about this too is it's got a little elastic liner, so it stays put kind of on your back. So highly recommend this from Zeke, but there's a lot of brands out there that you can go with. So that's kind of my essential items. That's what I bring with me every time. Now quickly talk about what I bring with me just in case, right? If it's getting a little warm, I'll just go ahead and put on another shirt. These shirts are phenomenal from Zeke. I've in white and gray. I'm in Florida, so it gets really, really hot down here, so it's important you wear kind of light colored clothing. But this is fantastic. This is actually kind of a spandex, so it doesn't constrict your movement. As you know, on a dinghy, you've got to be moving around and feel like you're not constricted. But phenomenal. I'll switch these out with the shirts sometimes if it gets a little too hot. I have an assortment of hats. Can't tell you, I've lost hats on boats so many times when you're going upwind and the back, it flies off. You circle back around and it just sunk on you, or you just lost it. So bring a bunch of hats with you guys. A lot of time on the water. And then also, what I really highly recommend is you get these flaps on the end. Columbia does a really good job of these, where it covers your ears, your back, your neck, and just make sure that there's no kind of ability for sun to get on you. They're 50 UPF, so they're actually designed to reflect sun. And then they also have this really cool little handy thing on the back, so it can make it tight on your head so it won't fall off when the wind and the waves start hitting it. So highly recommend these from Columbia. They have different kind of versions of them, but really great hats. I do have some foul weather gear as well. I have some backup gloves that I've used over the years that work great. They've just kind of worn out a little bit, and I keep them on standby just in case I lose my other ones. I actually have some spray tops as well. Sometimes even with the wetsuit for your top, it's still too cold, right? So Gill, Zeke, and a number of different companies offer spray tops. This is one by Gill. I love this thing. I've used it several times down in Key Biscayne for the winter series racing. It's very similar to a dry suit, to where it really just locks up so no water gets in. And if it does, that's where your kind of wetsuit top comes in. It'll essentially help to warm you up. So love these spray tops. If it does get too cold, you can actually go with that route. What else? This is also one of my favorite, which we didn't talk about, was essentially a robe. I see a lot of guys have these at the events. Huge. Absolutely love this. There's not always the accessibility to just go and change in the bathroom, or if there is, there's usually a line because there's 140 people trying to get their stuff on. So it's great to be able to just buy your boat or buy your car, bring this robe, you put this on, and then you put on everything else under it. This was about 20 or 30 bucks on Gill, but I know Billabong has them, Zeke sells them, a lot of different brands, but I live and die by this. It is a must-have. Highly recommend you don't get the towel. It's a little hot. If you get something a little lighter, it might be a little better, depending on where you live. So the other thing I do bring too, guys, is water bottles. I usually bring about 4 of them, depending on how long the regatta is. Usually regattas are about 2 days, so I'll use 2 different water bottles for each day, so I don't have to clean them. If it is a 4 or 5 day regatta, I'll bring 4, and I'll clean them after each event and dry them. So important. that if you're using that. I do have 32 ounces too. As you know, you're out in the water a long time, and not, you know, the race committee or coach boats or whoever are not always going to have water on board to supply you. So you've really got to be as self-sufficient as possible out there. You can either put them in your inspection port, you can put them on the back of your hiking strap, just some way to make sure you have water out there. But yeah, that's it, you guys. We talked through all the essentials. We talked through kind of the must-haves, what you should bring, what you should be thinking about when going to these regattas. And that's outside of your existing gear. Now for everything, the boat's concerned, I have backups for all that as well. So I have 2 booms, I have 2 masts, well, 1 radial, 1 full rig. I've got 2 sets of blades, 1 rudder, 1 extra center board. It's really important you guys show up prepared and you have as much as you can. Just want to quickly talk about some of these hiking boots, you guys. These are one of my favorite. These are the Zeke gripped new hiking boots that they're selling. I absolutely love these things. They actually come with the Zeke hiking strap as well. They have these ribbed kind of dots on the front, and they're also on the hiking strap. So when you get in there, you're able to kind of lock in, and the ribs, they connect with each other, and it helps so you don't slide out. I can't tell you how many hiking straps I've had where I just feel like I'm constantly sliding out and I can never get the grip that I want. Whether that's my feet aren't strong enough, or my legs aren't strong enough, or it's just the hiking pad's too slippery, or whatever it is, but these are amazing. So I highly recommend these from Zeke. They are the Boot 360. And they're just fantastic hiking boots. One thing they've improved on the designs too, which is really, really nice, they put this little lip up top here so this doesn't slide up like that, like a lot of these, and then they'll end up coming on your ankle instead, which is always a pain. And then the other thing they did, which was really, really smart, they actually put a little hole or a little pocket right here for your laces. A lot of times your laces are just kind of dangling free, and you've got to kind of figure out how you're going to wrap these around and then tuck these in, and they always seem to kind of come out while you're racing. So with this little pocket, once you tie it, you just stuff it down in there, this flap goes over and you eliminate that. So great job by Zeke to kind of figure that out and take some of the feedback from sailors. But yeah, along with the grip, the lace pocket, and then this little bump, it really just really helps to change the design of your boots. So I also have another gill pair that I've worn pretty much my first or second season when I got back into sailing. They're great, but again, I always felt like I was slipping out. So this eliminated that, and if you're feeling like you're having that issue too, go ahead and get these boots. So if I'm not going to regatta and I'm just going out for a day sail, there's a couple things that I bring with me every single time. So one of those is dry bags. So if I'm going for a quick sail on the beach and I just want something to bring my music and my telephone, and I want to make sure that it doesn't get wet no matter what, I bring this little guy from Rooster. Fantastic little dry bag, absolutely love it. And then if I'm going for a long time and I want to bring the drone and everything else, I'll actually use this dry bag, a little bit bigger, from Patagonia. Fantastic, another great option. I'll also put everything into this dry lock box. So once I shut this, there's absolutely nothing getting in there. And then I'll put that inside here to make sure that nothing gets wet. Now, as far as electronics and technology, what I bring, first and foremost, I have a VHF Cobra. This little baby's pretty sweet. No matter what happens out there, you can call for help. So just make sure it's charged before you go out. Make sure that what you do have is protected. This is actually a floating handheld VHF, which is really nice. So if I do drop this in the water, it'll actually float. So fantastic little piece of technology, and it's pretty visible with the actual orange over white. So love it. Gotta have, must have. And then I also have this from Garmin. This is really handy little GPS unit, and this is really peace of mind. I rarely use it, but sometimes I'll go back in the islands, in the Thousand Islands, and you know, you kind of you get so far back in there, sometimes you can lose your way. So rather than have to jump on the VHF later on and call some help or support in, you should be self-sufficient and kind of reliable on yourself. With that said, I'll also bring my phone, and always got to have a little music, but I put that in. Hope you guys enjoyed that if you're thinking about what to bring out there. So thank you for watching. If you enjoy the content, please give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you out in the water.